Good morning. I'm Dr. Sanjay Jain, Associate Professor in Mathematics at SPC Government College Ajmer. Today we are taking a lecture on tensor analysis, especially Riemannian-Christoffel tensor. Earlier we have studied Christoffel symbols. Here we generalize Christoffel symbols to change by some adding properties these into tensor, and how it is done we are seeing in the next slide. And of course Riemannian first do this, that's why it is Riemannian Christoffel tensor are called. Riemannian Christoffel tensor, earlier we have already seen that general commutative property doesn't hold with respect to covariant differentiation, which we studied in the Christoffel symbol chapter. Okay, covariant differentiation is doesn't hold commutative property. So how we make it commutative so that it also showing tensor property and commutative property. That's for doing by first Riemannian, a great mathematician. That's why it is known as Riemannian Christoffel tensor. Okay. So how we do this? This is explained here. It's a very interesting phenomena that a Christoffel symbol, which is not in a tensor, but how it convert so that it become tensor quantity. Okay. In this section, we are interested in investigate the condition so that the covariant differentiation of all vector may be commutative. We are taking in a vector quantity and taking its covariant differentiation, okay, which is not a tensor, either vector or tensor. Then how to we make it tensor or commutative? Let us consider a vector in Vn. Vn means n space that is given by Riemannian, whose covariant component are given by Ai. Okay, differentiating Aj covariantly, which we are studying in the earlier chapter, just last lecture, how we define or doing covariant differentiation, okay, with respect to xj. So this is the definition of Christoffel symbol or a vector covariant differentiation. Okay, how it we define? You are seeing here in the red line, mentioned in red line, ai comma j is equals to partially differentiation with ai and differentiate with respect to xj. If it is in a full derivative, many times we have written this ai comma z. Okay, but vector is in a one order tensor, and when we differentiate it, it becomes a less than order, so its 0 become scalar. Okay, but here in that case covariant differentiation, if I differentiate with respect to j, here is an one indices after a comma j. That's why we have one extra term here, a alpha alpha ij. Okay, this one term extra because of that j. This is differentiating, covariant differentiating with respect to j. When this is a very important to understand next line. When we differentiate with respect to j, we have one more term. This is the covariant differentiation of a vector. We already studied in the last lecture. Okay, so we are using as such here, but we understand that the one term j, or which is differentiating by with xj, giving an one extra term after del I over del xj minus a alpha alpha ij. This is a very important thing which we uses in the next lines. So we denoted it by equation 1. Okay, what we are doing, we are doing a covariant differentiate again. This covariant differentiate vector ai, or in other term, the equation 1 is again covariant differentiation with respect to, you are seeing here k, differentiating this further covariantly with respect to xk. Okay, this is an important how we get. When we have a one indices in equation 1j, we have one extra term. Here we have a two indices after comma, that is j and k. So we have two extra term here, alpha ij a alpha comma j minus alpha ik a I comma alpha. These are two extra term because we have a two indices or two time covariant differentiate. So we get three terms. Okay, a first term ai over del xj, and second term when one time differentiate, third term when second time differentiate. So these three terms are coming when we covariant twice differentiation. Okay, this is an important thing how we obtain these three terms. Okay, already when covariant differentiate one time we get two term, two time we get three terms, that are important. Okay, now next line is again important how we obtain. Okay, go to the first term, del by del xk a I comma j. Okay, what we are doing, we have here three symbol, a I comma j, a alpha comma j, a I comma alpha. Okay, these are mentioned in blue over star symbols. Okay, these three, a I comma j, a alpha comma j, a I comma alpha, these are the three terms which may be substituted here from equation 1, because in equation 1 we have a I comma j is equal to given. Okay, so in first term we substitute as it is, in second term a alpha comma j, so we substitute I in place of alpha. In third term a I comma alpha, so we substitute I is alpha and j is alpha, I is I and j is alpha. So substituting these three, a I j, a alpha comma j, a I comma alpha from equation 1 here. Okay, now when we substitute these in these term, and now it is not covariantly, outside we have del by del xk, simple differentiation. So what we get, a I comma j having two terms. So when we differentiate it, we get first term differentiate with del by del xk, we get del by del xk of del aj over del xj, del ai over del xj. So it becomes del 2 ai over del xj del xk. Okay, this is double differentiation of first term. Okay, now in second term we have two term, a alpha alpha ij. So by using UV method of differentiation, we get two more term here. First differentiate u, then v each constant. Second differentiate u and v second differentiate v, u is constant. So we get three term in case of first term. Okay, when we differentiating with respect to x ka k, we get three terms which is highlighted by blue line. This is only obtained by differentiating first term. Okay, now after that we come to second term, minus alpha ij a alpha comma j. Substitute a alpha comma j from first equation first, multiply with alpha ij. So a alpha comma j having two term, multiply with a alpha ij. So we get here these two term, alpha over ik del a alpha over del xj, and second alpha ik beta alpha j a beta. So these two term obtained by second term. Similarly, two term obtained by third term by substituting a I alpha from equation first. So total seven term, three term from first term, two from second, two from third. Total seven term we get here in equation 2, that is a I comma j k. This is very important term. How we obtain these seven term? Okay, this is written directly in the book, but the method behind this I explain here how we obtain this. Okay, so we get seven term in a I comma j k. Okay, clear? In next slide, what we are doing, the same equation 2 here. We in equation 2 we change jk into kj. Okay, what we are doing in this equation, a I comma jk, we get seven terms. We interchange jk by kj. Okay, j to k, k to j, and we get this equation 3 of seven terms easily, which is ai comma kj. This is known as equation 3. Okay, now what we are doing, subtracting 3 from 2, 2 minus 3, we are doing equation 2 minus equation 3, that is ai comma jk minus ai comma kj. Okay, so we get here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 terms we are getting, and remaining terms are cancelled. Okay, 7 minus 7, some are different, some are same, so we get the 8 terms here. So this is a I comma jk minus a k comma a I comma kj. Okay, left hand side become difference of two term a I comma jk minus a I comma kj. Okay, now what we are doing here, substituting the value of a here, we get sometime a beta in the different term, baki and remaining are same. So what we are doing here, we are doing in third and fourth term alpha by beta and beta by alpha interchange, so a beta becomes a alpha, and in the last term again change alpha beta, beta by alpha, so we get a beta into a alpha. So what we are doing, in all terms we get, by using property 1, the 8 terms convert into 4 terms and convert into, by dummy, changing in the dummy, we get all term having a alpha, which is taken common in the last a alpha, and remaining product and other 4 terms are in the bracket, which are common by a alpha. Okay, so these 4 terms in the bracket is denoted by, we underline all the 4 term, and by red symbol you are seeing here, we denoted it by r alpha upon in the upper indices, and in the lower indices I j k. Okay, because alpha is in upper, every bracket it is an alpha is in a upper side. So R alpha in upper script and ijk is lower script. So we can get left hand side is same as in our earlier slide. This is ai comma jk minus ai comma kj. So left hand side is same, and the term in bracket is denoted by r alpha ijk and a alpha taking as such common here. Okay, so what we are seeing here, here we written also what is r alpha ijk, the same bracket which are written here. So r alpha ijk denoted by this bracket. Okay, since a alpha is an arbitrary covariant vector, we have taken ai is an a vector covariant, so a alpha is also arbitrary covariant vector, and the left hand member of 4, equation 4 which we get here, is a covariant tensor of order 3. You are seeing here I comma jk, I comma kj. So there are 3 indices. So very important thing, left hand side is nothing but covariant tensor of order 3. Okay, but the right hand side, it is immediate from the quotient law that R alpha in upper subscript, ijk in lower subscript. So we have 4 subscript, 1 in upper, 3 is lower. So it is in a mixed tensor of order 4. So left hand side is a difference of order 3 vector, right hand side we get tensor of order 4. A alpha is an arbitrary. Okay, so what we get, difference of two tensor again convert into a tensor form, but order is increased by 1. Left hand side we have order of tensor in 3, and in right hand side we get order of equation quantity is 4. Okay, this r alpha ijk is a very important, and we are giving this mixed tensor R alpha ijk defined by 5, equation 5, is called Riemannian Christoffel tensor because it is a tensor of order 4, or it is also called curvature tensor sometime for the Riemannian metric Gij, dxi and dxj. The symbol R alpha ijk are known as Riemannian symbol of the second kind also. First kind we have already taken fundamental tensors. This is an of second kind. From 5 it is evident that the equation 5 we have already seeing in the last, we get R alpha ijk is nothing but minus of R alpha ikj. When j, k are interchanged, we get a minus sign. Okay, so what we can say, the R alpha ijk is a skew symmetric with respect to the indices j and k. Okay, skew symmetric tensor. In the same way, by successive covariant differentiation of the contravariant vector ai, upper indices vector. Okay, here up to that we are taking covariant vector ai. Here we take, if we take contravariant vector in which subscript taken in the upper index, that is ai, then we also get similarly this method, applying this method we get these terms ai comma jk minus ai comma kj is nothing but minus a alpha r I alpha jk. Okay, this is again we get, in which a minus sign is occur, while in the last form for covariant we doesn't have a minus sign. So in that case it is clear from 4 and 7. This is equation 7. Okay, so what we are seeing from 4 and 7, that the necessary and sufficient condition that the covariant differentiation of all vector to be commutative is that the Riemannian Christoffel tensor is identically 0. What we are seeing from 4 and 7, if Ri alpha jk becomes 0, vanish, then we can write alpha I comma jk minus alpha ai comma kj is equal to 0, means ai comma jk is equals to ai comma kj, means it is commutative in j and k. Similarly, in the earlier from this equation, if r alpha ijk from equation 4 becomes 0, then we get ai comma jk is equals to ai comma kj. So it is again symmetric in j and k when Riemannian Christoffel tensor becomes 0 or vanishes. So this is a necessary and sufficient condition to take it is a symmetric tensor. Riemannian Christoffel symbol or tensor should be vanish. Okay, so identically 0. This is an important question. So today we have defined what is the Riemannian Christoffel tensor and how it is obtained and what is the necessary and sufficient condition for that. So this is a basic introduction of Riemannian Christoffel tensor. This is a very important derivation. You have done with your hand once because generally it comes into exam. So today we are stopping here. So thank you.